So, what was the October 2024 Licensed Customs Broker exam like? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it coming up next. Hello, my name is Vin of internationalvin.com, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the exam that happened about 4 or 5 months ago. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how I prepared for the exam. For the most part, I focused on taking past exams every weekend, about 6 or 7 of them. So I started with the most recent and then I went back. And that started with the May of 2024. I would print that out and I'd go through that exam. Usually the test takes about 4.5 hours, but on the weekends I didn't want to give up my whole weekend, so I just devoted about 2 hours or so on a Saturday, and then I came back on a Sunday and finished out with a 1.5 or 2 hours. So I did that about every weekend. And on top of that, I joined our company's sponsored LCB exam every Tuesday for 1 hour. It's conducted over Teams, and about 15 of us get together and we go over some of the more challenging problems. So we analyze it, we break it down, and we review them. All right, so what was the exam like? I would say on this exam, it seemed pretty passable. And I say that because for most of the questions, I knew how to find and look up the information. So I was pretty comfortable throughout the exam. I had to take it in Tampa, and so I had to drive up there about 2.5 hours, and then I stayed overnight at a hotel, and then I woke up the next morning to go to the testing center. So the exam itself was 80 questions, very, very typical, and it covered all of the familiar topics: entry process, penalties, fines, drawback, free trade agreements, etc., etc. So all of those were the typical subjects that were tested on. And again, for the duration of the exam, I felt very, very confident. Unfortunately, I was a little bit too confident because I did not pass. I scored a 65%. You need a 75% to pass, so I missed it by 7 or 8 questions. All right, so what did I learn and what will my strategy be going forward? So it looks like when I look at the exam, I broke down in classification and the practical exam portion. So it looks like most of my mistakes were made there, and the rest I did fairly well. So going forward, I'm going to continue to take practice exams every weekend, and I'm going to zero in and focus on more classification, get better at that, and try to improve my score for here on out. So going forward, every weekend, I'm going to take an exam, the most recent, and go back from there, and then do it every Saturday and Sunday, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I have time over the lunch period, I'm going to review and see which ones I got wrong. So I think if I keep with that focused schedule, that should increase my score and I should improve. All right, so there you have it. The road to become a licensed customs broker is quite challenging. The exam is exhausting, and it takes a lot of time to devote to the exam. You know, I have a family, I have a baby daughter, I have to balance out work. So all of that has to take into play. And I know it's very, very difficult and it's time consuming, and going over those exams every weekend really takes a lot out of you. But I want to keep it up, and we'll see what happens in April.